This time we'll call the meeting to order. Invocation.
Father God, in heaven, we thank you for this night. We thank you for these civic leaders. God, I pray that you lay your hands on the commissioners, the mayor, the city manager, the city attorney. God, I pray that you help them lead this city into the future. I pray that you guide their decisions and give them wisdom. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Changes to the agenda.
Not tonight.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second?
Been moved by Commissioner Wentz, second by Commissioner Hutchinson Commissioner Hash to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Moving on to proclamations, recognitions, public hearing for the CDBG application for ladder truck. The public hearing is now open. Ask for anyone that would like to make a comment on the subject.
Is that on any subject?
No, ma'am. There'll be public comments here after our home rule proclamation. Hearing no comments, the public hearing is now closed. This point, we'll move on to the home rule proclamation. Maybe you want me to read that then?
Sure, that would be great.
Whereas on November 8th, 1960, the voters of Kansas approved a constitutional amendment granting cities home rule authority. The home rule amendment took effect in Kansas on July 1st, 1961. Home rule gives local governments, specifically cities, the power to make decisions at the local level based on the unique needs and values of their residents. And whereas cities across our great state manage differing opinions and views on issues ranging from zoning to funding for local services and programs, home rule keeps control of community in the hands of local residents. And whereas the home rule amendment empowers cities to determine local affairs and government actions, including the levying of taxes, fees, charges, and other exaction. And whereas the city of Concordia and the League of Kansas Municipalities, cities continually work to educate and engage municipal officials, the legislature, and the general public about the importance of home rule in local decision-making. And whereas the 60th anniversary of the passage of constitutional home rule is a fitting time for all municipalities to engage their residents about the Kansas Constitution and local laws so that all Kansans may continue to receive the many benefits of home rule. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Charles P. Lamberts, have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Concordia to be affixed this 8th day, right, of October, 6th day of October, 2021, and proclaim Home Rule Day in our city. Moving on now to public comments. This is the time where citizens are encouraged to speak publicly. We request that you state your name and address, speak respectfully, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
I'll keep time for you, okay?
My name's Retta Waite. I live at 432 East 7th Street here in Concordia. I have a concern I brought to the attention to law enforcement last week. I haven't heard back from anybody. And it is, I got pictures here if anybody wants to look at them. Obscenities on flags. There's 2 residents within a block of me that have them. And I understand from the public comments on Facebook the other night, several citizens plan on ordering more and displaying them. I just need to know what the city plans on doing about it. If anything or nothing. And so I know what the rules of engagement are.
I think that's a fair question. It's one, honestly, I don't think that I have an immediate answer to. As far as what constitutes free speech, what constitutes those sorts of things, and that's outside of my realm of expertise. So I think we'll probably have a discussion with our city attorney. And
Yeah, I've spoken with the chief, and
you and I can speak, it won't be able to tonight, but another time. We're very, very limited as to what we can do.
I understand under freedom of speech, obscenities is not covered.
Yeah, but it's also considered symbol. We can debate it later. How about that? Okay.
I appreciate your concern very much.
Yeah, I do understand your concern. We just have to. All right.
Other public comments? Moving on to the hearing none, seeing none. Anyone online? At this time, we'll move on to the discussion agenda, the OCCK request for funding for public transportation.
Hello, everybody. My name is Trell Grinter. I am the Director of Transportation for OCCK. Michelle is our Director of Mobility. She is handing out a couple of goodies. I'll kind of walk you guys through that just so it's not just a bunch of crazy sitting in front of you. We've got our business cards. So if you guys have any further questions or need to get in contact with us, you have both of our contact information there. And then we've got 2 free passes, one for 81 Connection and one for Go Concordia, which is what we will be discussing tonight. A little goodie pouch. You can put your cards in here, have fun with that. We also have brochures. OCCK Transportation is insanely diverse, and our whole mission is to get people where they are wanting to go, whether that's nutrition-based, work, shopping, anything medical. We want to get them where they're going. So it's a lot of reading material, so you guys are going to have fun reading that when you go to bed. But 100% look through it, because there's probably somebody or you yourself could benefit from OCCK Transportation. But really, I am here to bring focus into our newest aspect, Go Concordia. So in July 1st, we had the opportunity to bring the city of Concordia Public Transportation under our wing. And I've got numbers from the beginning of July until now. But in order to continue, we are definitely going to have to build a partnership with you guys as the city. We 100% will need some match in our partnership with KDOT as well. And that's what I want to get started with us today. Obviously, going into 2021, kind of starting our fiscal year in July, we kind of missed some budgets, and you guys probably already have your budget started. If there is anywhere in that budget that we can make a special request, I would love to get into how that would look and how I can bring that back to you guys for the remainder of this year. And then going into our fiscal year 2022, I would love to keep this conversation going. But let me walk you through kind of the cool stuff that we've been up to in the last 3 months and show you these numbers. So our first step, just in the month of September, we have given 751 rides to the people of Concordia. And that is really the city. OCCK does take care of the county of Cloud, but really that number is focusing on our service here. All of our drivers are hired from the Concordia area, and we are dispatched from the Concordia area as well. Now, July to September, we have given slightly over 2,000 rides. That's putting us on track to give at least 8,000 rides or more in a calendar year. So that's really, really exciting for the transportation of Concordia. On the next one, that shows our 2021 ridership, and we have seen that steady increase, and our goal is to continue increasing that. How can we make smarter trips? How can we get more people to more places to make their lives easier? Following top destinations, Walmart. That is a huge destination for the people of Concordia. They are super excited about having the opportunity to get there and get there in a timely manner. Cloud County Health Center, Neighbor to Neighbor, and Senior Center, and as well as the library. There are a ton of other places. I just gave you the top 5. If you guys are interested in that data, I would love to get that to you as well. Walmart topping the list at 258 rides just from July. That's pretty amazing. One thing, public transportation took a huge hit. So I threw in a slide here about COVID-19. Public transportation was very scary walking into that pandemic, but OCCK has done an amazing job of keeping our buses clean, keeping our passengers safe, and keeping our drivers safe. We did see a tiny dip in our services way in Salina, but up here we have been able to maintain our drivers' health and maintain their ability to show up to work. We provide masks for the drivers and for the passengers. We also have the social distancing. We have a bus and a van available for them to get them where they need to go. And then we disinfect all vehicles and our office regularly at the end of every shift and in between passengers. Safe Driver Award, our team here in Concordia hasn't been on the team long enough for their years of service to be in this, but we are pretty stinking proud. All of our drivers added together, we have over 100 years of safe driving experience. So we are super, super proud of our training program and how we handle that professional driver. Just to look into what OCCK Transportation has been doing 2020, 2021. We did have a building expansion so we can continue adding more rides in North Central Kansas. I've increased the infrastructure of our staff. I've added paratransit positions, dispatch positions, assistant supervisors and supervisors to the team so we can get people where they are needing to go on demand and make that super easy for them to make those rides. Now, training certifications for leaders, I wanted everything to be able to be in-house for us so our drivers can count on their leaders to give them the information that they're needing. In public transportation, that can be a little intimidating. Who do I get my information from? COVID, licensing, everything like that. I wanted us to be almost a one-stop shop. And then we've updated our training program. We've brought it up into 2021. It is almost completely all-inclusive, and we have some cool partnerships with our HR department and risk management to make those even better. Okay, and then community events, give a little snapshot into what we're up to up here. We loved participating in the Fall Fest, and then we gave rides for that air show. Michelle, who's with me tonight, she helps us with our Guide and Go travel training program. So anybody who's unsure about public transportation, that's kind of intimidating, they can connect with us. We can get them connected with her, and she can provide verbal guidance. She can ride with the passenger just to build that confidence. So there's no barrier to public transportation for anybody. Our Can Cycle program turned 2 this year, so we're really excited about that. We've given free rides to vaccine clinics. Anybody who's wanting to get that vaccine can just give us that notification. We'll get them where they need to go. We always provide free rides to voting. And then we have a pretty sweet partnership with Cloud County for their students. Then beyond 2021, we are really looking to enhance our software, and part of that comes the data along with it, making sure we can get data into your hands about what public transportation means, where your passengers are, where your people are going as passengers on our vehicles. So you guys can make decisions as the city, and we can make decisions to better service as public transportation. Increased availability. There's a lot of people here that need to get places, and I don't want anything to be a barrier. And I don't want my team and not having enough availability of hours as drivers to hold anybody back. So I'm super excited to keep pushing forward on that. Mobility hubs is another big one. We have our 81 connection. We've got our City of Concordia public transportation, and then we also have our Can Cycle. All of them kind of meet up in different areas, and that's a big, big topic recently in public transportation, getting people through these spokes to where they need to go and having different modes of mobility to get to different places. Then number 4 on that list is Work and Go. How can we partner with local businesses to get their employees that perk of, hey, let's get you on public transportation. Maybe there's parking issues. Maybe an employer has an employee that needs that transportation. How can they help them get to their place of employment and make that super easy transition for them? So do you guys have any questions for me? That was a lot of information. Thanks for hanging with me.
What's your ask?
Sure. So for our fiscal year, with our budget, to match KDOT 30%, it would be $70,000.
So do you ask the college?
We do have a partnership with them as well. Michelle can talk with that partnership.
Sure. So 81 Connection is a separate transportation entity that we provide. And so our partnership right now is just with 81 Connection. So they do financially support that program. And in turn, we give students, faculty, and staff free rides. So for the City of Concordia's public transportation, we have not yet asked the college, but that could be one possibility that we could talk about.
It definitely could be.
I know at one time too, you took over the senior center, so the hospital is contributing funds to that. Are they on your ask list as well as Walmart and their grant program?
Sure, we did discuss Walmart earlier today. The hospital is definitely part of that. The Salina Regional Health Foundation, we do work with them very, very well. How can we, where else do we need to go with this one?
I would say
With-
yes.
yes,
The short answer
yes,
is yes.
thank you,
Everyone
thank
is
you.
on the list of possibilities for asks. We wanted to start with this group as the most obvious choice, and then we can kind of branch out from there, depending on where we need to go.
So you need a $70,000 match for your funding from the state.
Correct.
And that's total, or that would be for the city?
That's total.
Okay.
That is total.
So public transportation is funded 70% by KDOT, some federal funds, some state funds, so they pay that 70%. Then each program is required that local match, that remaining 30%. It doesn't matter where that comes from, as long as you have it.
And so would that be the whole service area then that you're talking about?
Yes.
All that OCCK provides, that would be the whole aspect for that entire area,
That
For the
is
city of
just
Concordia.
correct.
just for the city of Concordia?
Yeah.
I guess I'd be interested in like the full breakdown of everything, where that grant, and then,
Absolutely.
yeah, the employee benefits, pay, everything.
For sure. Yes,
I can get
definitely.
that to
Yeah,
you.
we can definitely get that too. Yeah, we knew we wanted to come here and get that conversation started, and we knew that we would definitely need to come back with that.
Where's your dispatch for Concordia?
Sure, she is located at our OCCK office
Okay.
here, right down the street. Yeah.
She do that for the senior center too, then.
So that was a very fun story. It was her second day of volunteering when I met Naomi. And I said, hey, would you want to come over onto our team? And she said, sure. And so she went from volunteering to a full-time job with us. So it's pretty cool opportunity. And we were able to bring all three of their drivers over to our team and give them a $4 increase in pay. So that's really, really amazing. And then we added one extra driver to help maintain service.
What does your grant do?
Sure, so we are going to be writing our grant this month to start that off. We know our timing is a little bit awkward with you guys, so we are 100% flexible in our conversation.
I think that's obviously a fairly significant number, and our fiscal year runs similarly in July. So I know that we've had conversations about helping support the senior center in that way. And other conversations with their other community members that are part of that.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to think what other information we might need to continue the conversation out. The detailed information that you're asking for, I think would be really helpful. Is there other information that the commission would be helpful? I mean, I think that the usage data is helpful. This other information might be what we need to get started with the conversation, to see what we might be able to do.
How do you want us to get that to you? Do you want us to schedule another time to come to a meeting, or do you want that emailed, or how do you?
If
how
you
would you
can,
like that?
if you can email it to me, we'll get it on the agenda for the October 20th meeting. That we'll need that information in our hands by noon on October 14th to get it in the agenda. The agenda is published on Friday, so the commissioners will have a few days to read through it and vet it. We can set it on the action agenda. if That's all right with you guys for the 20th.
I almost wonder if a study session might be more helpful, so we can have a more open dialogue. I just,
We could do
to
that.
try to figure out what we can do and what we can't do.
What is
2
your
weeks is gonna be
grant
pretty
do
narrow.
though?
Sure, this is my first grant cycle,
So the
Michelle.
grant for fiscal year 2022 is due November 19th.
Okay, that
So
sounds.
the study session will work then.
Yeah, I hate to put that time pressure on you, but I think just to give us enough time to really
Sure.
process it as well as we can. We got a
Sure.
study session, that conversation. And then whatever action we could take place, if any, then could be the first week of November. And that'd be the first Wednesday of November.
The first Wednesday in November. Sure.
Mhm.
You guys just let us know we're willing to do whatever we need
Absolutely,
to
yeah,
do.
so just by noon on the 14th, have that
Okay.
stuff sent over to me, and then, so we'll still keep the same schedule, then on the 20th, do a study session, so it'll be informal conversation, no action expected to be taken at that, but we can ask a lot more open questions.
Okay,
That would be perfect.
all right. So I guess in the meantime, just let us know if there's any other questions or information that you want that we can have prepared.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Certainly, you're welcome to stay, but I'd also understand if you wanted to get on your way. We do have an exciting conversation about fire trucks, so. Minor transportation. So moving on to our action agenda. Looks like there is a treasure trove of information and motions pursuing grants.
So Mayor and Commissioners, we're intending to apply for a couple of different grants to work toward replacement of a ladder fire truck, which was included on the capital equipment list this last time. The price tag is about $1.2 million. That's a lot. So leveraging that with some grant funds is really helpful. Amanda Former of Gross and Regional Planning is here to kind of discuss what those involve, what the two grants involve.
So thanks very much for having me here. I'm Amanda Horn. I work with the North Central Regional Planning Commission, and you guys probably know Emily Benedict. She is now taken over as the director there, and I've moved into her spot. So it's very nice to be here. And I think this is my first official commission meeting with everybody. So thank you. From my understanding, you guys have a ladder truck that it was a model 1999, so it's starting to get to the end of its useful life. And that it could potentially affect your ISO rating. So Amy came to us and said, listen, we've got one more year with our LMI because the 2021 census data has come out. And at the moment you guys qualify without having to do a survey. Next year, if you don't qualify, it would mean having to go out and survey everybody again. So she was trying to look at what is potential needs for the city, and the ladder truck was one that came up. So the city qualifies for, it's basically a 0.5% or 50% match to the total project. So at 1,120,000, that's 560,000 for a CDBG grant that the city is eligible for. So we held the CDBG public hearing tonight, and there was no comments, which is a good thing. Nobody's against it. Hopefully a lot of people are for it. The deadline for that is going to be October 31st. So I've been working with all of these wonderful ladies that you've got here, and with Eric as well, to try and get information for the writing of that grant application. One of the things that we have done is we've applied for a Dane Hansen grant, and it has been awarded. That was for an amount of 30,000. And the really exciting part about that is that CDBG has come out with some new rules that are saying that if you get, it works out to 2.5% of your local match as private foundation money, then they will give you extra bonus points. And they've given 10 extra bonus points, which is huge. That's massive. So that's really exciting and something very good for our application chance at being awarded. Because it kind of came, it was one of those things where Dane Hansen said, no, we're not going to do this type of thing. And then they said, yes, we're going to do it. So it was a scramble to get everything in, but we got everything in on time, and it was awarded. So the other thing that I had been thinking about is that USDA has actually got some grant money available as well for equipment needs. And I had recently completed one with Belleville where they'd given 50,000 towards a Jetaback truck. So I came to Amy, I said, what would you think about this? She's like, well, I don't know. What about, do we have to take a loan? Do we have to take a lease? And USDA does allow leases to go through. And when we talked to Austin, who is the representative there, he said, well, not only could you get the 50,000, you could potentially get a lot more as well on top of that. So an application is proposed to go into USDA as well. The cost of that from our side to put through the application and all the associated paperwork is $500 for that one. And then, so you could get up to potentially $350,000 worth of grant. which is excellent. So, and I say up to because it really depends on how much funding they have got available for grants at the time when they review the application. And I've tried to be sneaky and ask them, and they say, no, just wait. So, but there's a lot better chance at getting more than 50,000, which is what we were kind of hoping for, but now it sounds a lot better than what we initially thought. So that's pretty exciting. So I guess I'm here to ask, is the city okay with going forward with the CDBG application and the USC application? The Dane Hansen application already has been put through, and we at NCRPC did that at a no cost to the city. So it's there if you want it. However, if you don't go through with the ladder truck, that funding does have to be returned. So it is specifically for that project and that project alone. There are a lot of resolutions, and I feel very bad for you, Mayor. You've got quite a lot of paperwork to sign that does go with that if the commissioners are interested in moving forward with that. The first one is a resolution from CDBG 2021-18, the legal authority to apply, basically saying that the city is willing and able to apply for the grant. And then the second one is 2021-19, which is the operations and maintenance budget. The city currently has 45,000 that is already in place to take care of equipment. And that you would be committing to say that you would use some of that 45,000 to operate and maintain the ladder truck once it's in your possession. One thing that I forgot to mention, but that is very important with CDBG, is because we are applying for CDBG, we have to keep it within the city. So that's one of the conditions that CDBG will probably ask the city to agree to, is that the ladder truck only is used within the city limits, or within the city of Concordia. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And then the last one for CDBG is NCRPC application and administration grant through us. If you'd like us to help you guys and guide you guys through that whole process, there would need to be a motion for that. And then two more with USDA. One is the resolution of a governing body for standards for procurement, bidding, and contract award. This is the same thing that you signed with CDBG. So you basically already signed one of those for your alley project that's currently ongoing. There's no new surprises there with that one. And then the last one with USDA would be to have a contract with us at NCRPC to help you guys apply for the application and to go through the administration of that with you guys as well. Amy, have I missed any?
Just the blanket statement at the end. There's a whole lot more documents that we're gonna have Chuck and Stacy both sign.
Yeah.
They're all very boilerplate language. It's a lot of federal paperwork, especially with these grants. They don't require specific motions by you. So we're just asking for a blanket authorization to let you finish applying or signing the rest of the documents that are associated with the grant. We've looked through all of them. They're great bedtime reading. But nothing in there that scares us that's any different from any other grant that we've applied for. I would add that if you see the map on the cover memo, we have $530,000 listed for the USDA Rural Development Grant and lease purchase. So what that would mean is the application would be for the $530,000 as a lease purchase, up to $358,000 of that amount would be granted, but the remainder would be a lease purchase for us. So we'd have to repay that portion of it. So all in all, I can't do the quick math in my head, but we're looking at 850,000, possibly 1.2 million as a grant, which is a great match for us. So really good deal for us. Eric, do you want to speak any at all to operational side or maintenance side of it?
Operation wise, if we do get it or when we do get it, ladder's attention will be first out truck, which will help some mats already. So it'll be a different look of a truck than what we have now.
I think that the more grant funding we can have for this, the better opportunity we have. So in theory, I guess the only concern that was raised when you're talking about that is, are we going to be compromising in our ability to help out if we're outside the city?
Yeah, our ladder truck now doesn't really go out to help rural in those areas. Times that we've had to call up to Belleville would be very minimal, not enough to cost benefit.
Sure, sure, not, and I appreciate that.
We'd still have an engine to do our mutual aid, automatic mutual aid with rural.
So what happens to the old ladder truck?
It'd go for sale, would be my anticipation. We have 4 smaller communities that have no ladder truck that are interested in it, that have shown interest. And have reached out, contacted us, so we kind of got some feelers. So that'd be something we'd end up bringing back to you. It'd be a long process. We went to Rosenbauer and visited one of the plants, just seeing it be about 468 days from the day we ordered until we get one. So we're talking it'll be a while before we'd have to cross that bridge.
So the two timing critical pieces for us is that, as Amanda explained, we're on the 3rd year of being able to use that low to moderate income rating first without doing an income survey. After that, we have to do an income survey at a targeted area of town. And so that this seems like a good use of these funds that'll cover the entire community. The other timing piece of it is the truck is a model 1999. At 25 years, it no longer counts as a ladder truck for it, so it impacts the ISO rating. The ISO rating then impacts or has potential to impact people's home insurance, business property insurance ratings. And so we want to make sure that we're doing what we can to help people's property insurance premiums low. So if it's a 1999 and it takes a year and a half from the time that we order, we want to make sure that if we can go after these grant funds and get them now seems like the appropriate time to do it. So that's the time to do it.
I guess I'm just thinking about potential blind spots. That I personally don't see a reason not to, but I don't know if there's just something I'm missing.
My concern would be not being able to take it out of city limits. Does that concern you at all? Not at all.
We can get 60–70%, knowing that we're gonna have to do it anyway. I think it's probably closer to 70.
And after we find out whether and how much grant funding we get, then we would come back to you at that time. We'd have to go ahead and publicly bid out to be able to get vendors' actual quotes on an actual ladder truck meeting the specifications that we need. And then you would have another action to take to actually approve the purchase of it. So it'll come back to you a little bit more.
Tonight, it is just giving permission to go ahead with applications. The contracts will need to be signed at a later date. So there will definitely be another round.
And we won't find out on CDBG till January, right? Whether or not we get that one. And what about USDA? What's the timeframe?
USDA is about a month or 2 months, depending on how their schedule is looking. But that's a quick turnaround time.
I was surprised to hear that, honestly.
Yeah, their equipment takes a lot less time than most of the other things.
I move to approve resolution 2021-21-21.
Second.
So been moved by Commissioner Hutchinson, second by Commissioner Belden to approve resolution 2021-21-21. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I move to approve resolution 2021-21-22.
Second.
So moved by Commissioner Hutchinson, second by Commissioner Wentz to approve resolution 2021-21-22. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I move to approve the CDBG application and administration contract with NCRPC.
Second.
So moved by Commissioner Hash, second by Commissioner Hutchinson to approve the CDBG application and administration contract with NCRPC. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I move to approve the resolution for code of ethics and procurement.
Good scrabble. So moved by Commissioner Wentz, second by Commissioner Belden to approve the resolution for code of ethics and procurement. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Move to approve the USDA application administration contract with NCRPC.
The move by Commissioner Belden, second by Commissioner Wentz to approve the USDA application and administration contract with NCRPC. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Move to authorize the mayor, city clerk, and other authorized personnel to sign documents necessary for these grant applications, and such documents do not require formal and individual action in a public meeting.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Hutchinson, seconded by Commissioner Hash to authorize the mayor, city clerk, and other authorized personnel to sign documents necessary for these grant applications when such documents do not require formal and individual action in a public meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you very much, everybody, for your time.
Well, thank you for your
If you have any
efforts.
Questions?
I
Amy has my details.
appreciate your efforts. The grant application seems to be a fairly Byzantine process, so thank you for your efforts.
Yeah, well, the city has helped a lot too, so we thank you as well.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Moving on to the plan for CDBG demolition grant.
That's another one. We have another grant for situational planning that we're working on executing, which is the demolition only grant. Bruno's been incredibly instrumental in that one as well. Keegan Bailey with the North Central Regional Plan has been working with us. Amanda's representing her here tonight. But we do have a kind of a plan in place that outlines the procedures that we're going to use. And I believe that is also in your packet, but we do need to have you approve that tonight so that we can move forward with the next step of that grant as well.
I would move to authorize the mayor to sign the demolition plan.
Second.
The move by Commissioner Hutchinson, seconded by Commissioner Wentz to authorize the mayor to sign demolition plan. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to the minutes of the September 15th, 2021 meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of September 15th. What's that?
So move-
I have a comment. And I know that you got the information about the fourth graders in another place. But should it be maybe listed also up among the visitors present? I know we can't name them all, but is that possible, or is it not advised?
Oh, for when it's listed visitors at the top,
Uh-huh.
I usually just go with who signs in
Okay,
unless I know specific people.
because you don't have documentation.
And nobody signed in
Okay,
at night.
all right,
Fair question.
thank you.
And it does say down below.
It does, yeah, I did say that.
But yeah, where they had to be listed specifically, there's some
Yeah.
statement that. Okay, there's a motion made. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to appropriation ordinance number 18.
A couple questions on that. I noticed that one of our departments changed from service master to an individual, but maybe because of the price was a little bit cheaper.
No, actually, the service master, none of their employees get past a background check, come to the building. So. And the individual's one that formerly worked for them, and she was cleaning under them, so. So it's all there.
And it was a little cheaper, I noticed, so that's good.
Yeah,
Okay, just curious why the change, but
no problem.
that's understandable. And then the Tyler Technologies, it just had yearly maintenance. What was that? What is that? Yearly maintenance.
That's our software, and that one in particular, I think, was for cash receipts.
Isn't that the new technology?
But
that
yeah,
was
it's one
supposed
of
to
our
be
new,
for?
I don't know why that one was billed separately, but there is a yearly on every application that we pay for them to maintain and keep it updated, and also to have our software support. But that's our new one that we're just transitioning to. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance number 18.
Second,
The move by Commissioner Hutchinson, second by Commissioner Hash to approve appropriation ordinance number 18. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to the manager's report.
We had a lot to celebrate over the last couple of weeks, so really just have a lot of thank yous. Fall Fest and the air show in particular, Ron with the streets department, Chief Robertson from the police department, Chief Austin, the fire department, EMS did a tremendous job. The airport advisory board did an amazing job coordinating the air show and getting everybody here, and they did 100% of the fundraising for that. That took about $27,000. There were a couple of grants that helped out. The Community Foundation and Dan Hansen Foundation, but most of it was private donations from here in the community. So that was really great to see. Estimated attendance was about 3,000 people at the air show. I heard a lot of comments that attendance at Fall Fest downtown seemed a whole lot bigger than normal. And so that was wonderful to see as well. We hope that our businesses prospered from that and that everybody had a good time. Glad that everybody stayed safe. We also buried the new 2021 time capsule on Friday, October 1st at noon. We did live stream that, so it is on the Concordia Sesquicentennial Facebook page. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and go there to see the video of that being buried. And Ron and his parks team did a great job of figuring out the best way to bury that time capsule. We're actually able to put the new time capsule inside the old time capsule, and the heights fit perfectly, which was great because we designed or had the new time capsule designed. Concordia Technologies took care of that design and donated the labor before we unearthed the old time capsule, so we didn't even really know how it was designed. So it all worked out perfectly. The new time capsule that was just buried will be opened in 2071. And there will be a stone that'll be placed on top. What's that?
It was packed.
It was filled to the brim, and we did throw in a roll of toilet paper and paper mask on top of it just for posterity. It was great, but the cap is welded shut, and there is a note on there to where to cut it off at before it's open, and that way people know how to open it up properly, so that nothing's damaged on the inside. But we thank everybody who contributed to the contents of the new time capsule and are excited to see what happens when it's open.
Space.
Space.
Staff reports.
End of September 30th was the deadline for grandfather and general contractors. I sent out a letter a month ago to remind a few of the stragglers, and anyway, in the end, we ended up 32 grandfathered in. Not all the grandfathers, some of them taking the test and passed it. We got 32 licensed general contractors on it. That'll be available online pretty quick here, I mean, one of those.
Excellent.
The eminent domain stuff is moving along as it should. I had to get a bunch of stuff approved by the court, oaths and orders and instructions, got all those approved by the court, got those signatures from the 3 people that are going to be doing it. I'll be touching base with them end of this week or beginning of next week to try to get a time scheduled for them to go over, do the appraisal. I'd like to try to find a time where maybe I can just walk around with them if need be. And then I will get in contact with, I didn't want to turn our public comments into a debate. I'll get in contact with Ms. Wade, let her know the difficulties with what we're kind of dealing with in that situation. Just to kind of let you guys know that basically what it boils down to is that it's tasteless, absolutely. But profanity and obscenity are 2 different things in the eyes of the law. So unless they are considered fighting words and cross some type of a line where people are starting to fight, there's probably not much we can do. It's protected symbolic speech. So I will get into contact with her. Rick had talked to me yesterday. I don't know what day it is anymore. Yesterday or Monday, and said that there was a concerned citizen, and but also we have to. Sometimes when we start to engage in these things, we just embolden people and they want to, for example, the more people are going to work. So Rick and I discussed, it's not a good look for Concordia, but there's not much we can probably do in the Constitution. So, but yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on the eminent domain stuff. We're hoping the public meeting will be sometime. I want to piggyback it onto the end of the beginning or end of the 2nd November meeting. And then after
after that, it's more paperwork and fingers crossed. There's a 30-day appeal period, and then after that, we'll be done with that stuff. So ideally, right about the end of the year, it'll be Amy's Christmas present. So,
Might just be Concordia's.
yes, yeah, so. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other staff reports? Mayor, commissioner comments?
I appreciate all the staff's work, but also Amy, yours too. I know you did a lot, especially on the airport project, and so really appreciate everything.
I would echo that. I can't even imagine what more could have been, made it better. Perfect weather. I don't know how you managed that, but we're gonna call you next time.
That's a
So-
mayoral.
Oh, it was you. But the air show certainly exceeded my expectations, and I know that it was expensive. But you know, sometimes it's just worth it to have, and to see our community come together. There were a lot of people from outside of our community there too. So I really want to commend the Airport Advisory Board and you and everybody else. I was very impressed.
I too felt that way. I was a little concerned with it being the day of Fall Fest, but worked out beautifully. And it was a beautiful day. I had a good time. So.
Yeah, I got a lot of positive feedback from Fall Fest. It was very nice to see so many people at Fall Fest. And then quite a few of them went to the air show, which was absolutely amazing. So thank you for anybody that had any part of that. That was really great. And I had family outside the state that actually commented, so that was nice. Chief, I had somebody comment that they thanked Officer Primo for patrolling school zones. So if you want to pass that along, thank you very much. I also seen him this morning and it was very, very nice to see, but he kind of is a little sneaky where he sits, but that's okay.
I'll let him know that.
Yeah, you do. But that's all I had, was the air show was just absolutely amazing.
I was curious about, and Ron, this is probably a question for Ron. It's probably not fair that I'm springing it on you, but you've probably been asked it. What's the status of the reconstruction going on out by Walmart?
It's not a city thing. I keep telling people it's not.
I know, but.
It is,
I know, but
they got it all tore out the first thing, and they didn't have their drainable base. You won't call that design mix approved by KDOT prior to. And they thought they could just do any kind of a rock mix to make a design drainable base. And KDOT threw it out, so they went back to APAC and Saline, I believe it was, which is asphalt. They designed an asphalt drainable base, which KDOT has approved. Now they are at the process. KDOT wanted to do some proctors on the soil to make sure it was good enough to put it down. So that they were supposed to get them proctors back and see if it was okay today. If it was, they're supposed to get back to going on that. So hopefully they'll get moving here before long.
They were out testing today. They were doing compaction tests today.
because that area in particular is kind of, compromised because of that old waterway.
Right, so yeah, it's a swampy area. There are a lot of drains in there and stuff.
It's gonna be moving along hopefully before long. I'm hoping next week we'll see something happen.
So when I said that it's not us, I absolutely appreciate it. We're partners, but we can't go out and pour concrete and open up the road. All right, that's what I'm being asked. Why don't you guys just go fill it up?
We did the other lane coming in town, almost at the traffic light. We did 6 or 7 pounds there. We pulled them out, redone it ourselves. I couldn't wait on KDOT at that point in time. It took almost 2.5 years to get to this point to do that. It was out there patching it the whole time. So
Like people are excited for work to progress.
I know, I do have a change order in on that project too, because right there in the intersection, that part of them panels are broken up. We have nothing to match to, and it's going into KDOT right now. Hopefully I get it done at the same time. They'll have to wait.
Maybe it'll be kind, given all the,
They gotta move all the traffic control over one lane and coming in town and push that other lane over for their signature barriers down. It's just like these downtown alleys. It's like construction now, when it's over with, no way to think about it.
Yeah.
I know the traffic lights are messed too. I mean, people don't pay attention to it, wait for it to turn. They jump out of turn. It throws everything out whack.
So how's the alley? I mean, it looks good.
I'll just tell you, because it's happening. They're over there jackhammering out part of the alley right now that we just poured a couple weeks ago. Because we missed a couple of sewer lines, one of them in Next Tech and one of them in Malls, we missed the sewer lines. And I'm not for sure whose fault it was, but they had other lines coming out there, and we tied them lines that are main, and they must have 2 lines of these coming out there. So we're working on that right now. So going west is slowing down till we get that fixed. The malls shut down because of the smell is back up in there. So we're working on that. So if we get that fixed. It's moving along. We're a couple steps forward, back. But we'll get it. We'll get it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ron.
When I, not being a Concordia native, it was really Fall Fest that kind of sparked my attention in Concordia, coming back to visit with Amber's family. And so being able to celebrate Fall Fest this year, I think it was a great year one, just being able to have Fall Fest again. But I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of activity, and being able to celebrate the air show, it was really just kind of affirming that 20 years down the road, we're still having a wonderful Fall Fest, and we have a lot of really good things going on. So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of volunteers and city staff to make it happen. So I say it a lot, but I really do mean it. The cooperation of our community, our city, I think really is doing some pretty great things. So I feel fortunate and blessed. Any other comments? Any other statements?
I wanted to publicly thank the fire department, the police department. We had a gas leak at our house. Detector went off, couldn't find a gas leak. The gas company finally found one. There actually was a gas leak, so it was right under our bedroom. Proves you need the detectors in your house. Because you couldn't, even the gas company had trouble finding it, but it was a pinhole leak in a pipe.
So now,
Wow.
So appreciate your help, even though my husband was, I wasn't home. He was having fun while I was gone.
I thought of I think a great symbol for Concordia. What a nice little treat it was to get some ice cream at the air show.
Wasn't that?
And I feel like
That's nice.
it's nice, but then here's an extra little treat. It's pretty symbolic.
Amy, the fire truck grants and all that, is not gonna mess with any of the USD 333 project if that goes through, will it? I know they're 2 separate, but if we have to lease a fire truck, does that do anything with it?
It's completely separate from the USD stuff, and yeah, completely separate things, completely separate, yeah.
So one won't mess with the other.
Equipment replacement as a budgetary line item. Grant money, so.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Commissioner Hutchinson, seconded by Commissioner Ash to adjourn. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. If the commission would like to stick around and